In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to finish off an orthogonal drawing, and that's going to cover layout and alignment, adding labels, the symbol, and adding some basic dimensions. So first of all, I need to thank Dina for allowing me to use her drawing to complete this tutorial. So let's get started. First of all, Dina has actually created this orthogonal drawing by originally drawing it in grey lead pencil on a piece of cartridge paper. She's then scanned it and she's placed it into Illustrator. So for those people that are not quite sure what I mean there, it's File and it's Place, and when you click that you can then go in like so and select a file, and in Dina's case it would be the scanned one. So that's how she's got that in there. Now that she's had time and she's traced it all, she doesn't actually need that drawing in the background. So what she did while she was tracing was she actually locked it to the background. So the first thing I need to do is go to Object and Unlock, and now you can see that that tracing, her original drawing, has been locked down, and we actually don't need that anymore. So I'm just going to place it out of the way. So that might be one way that you might like to do your orthogonal drawing, is to trace it like Dean has done. Other students have just gone straight in and drawn it from scratch. All right, before I go any further, I want to make sure that these are all grouped, and they're not. All right, so I'm going to draw a box around all of it using the Select tool, Object and Group. Next, this one here is not grouped either, so again, drawing a box around all of that, capturing it, and group. And then of course my last one as well, Object and Group. Now I can quite comfortably move things around. Oh, we've got a few little things there. Now that I can quite comfortably move things around, just get rid of these, and we're done. All right. Now I can quite comfortably move things around without them falling apart. First thing I need to do is line up Dina's three views. So to do that, I'm just going to first of all position this front view in the bottom left hand corner. These are a little bit big, so what I can do is just grab it all, and we just might shrink everything down just a little bit like so. Going to grab this one and pop it here. That hopefully will give me enough room to put some basic dimensions around it, as well as lining out my views. I've got my rulers on, which are going to help me to align these views. Where are your rulers? Just a reminder, they're here. So I'm just going to go hide so you can see they're gone. Go view, and we've got them back. So I do need my rulers. So what I'm going to do now is just click, actually can you see that? I'll do it again. Bring that across. Now these guys here do not print out. And if you want to delete one, you can just sort of do something like this and hit delete. Alright, so I need another one now. I'm going to pop that there. And now I can grab my top view and I can sit it in like so. Now I would like some horizontal ones. So I'm going to pop this here. And I'm also going to pop in another one like so. I even better get it more perfect. There we go. So you know what? I'm halfway there. So these guys here are aligned with each other. It might even come in a bit like so. But unfortunately at this point I need to make sure that the distance between here and here are the same, and at the moment they're not. But I can use this intersecting point here. So just making sure, go to Illustrator, Preferences, and I know we've talked about this before, that some students, your preferences might be under File or maybe even under Edit. But my version, they're right here. I'm going to go into Smart Guides, and I want to make sure that I've got it sitting on 45-degree angles. Because now what I can do is, using my pen tool, is at this point here, I can actually draw myself a line that is on 45 degrees. And I'll just bring that up to here like so. I'm going to delete that line very shortly. Now what I want to do is I can bring a line across to here. Okay, now can you see that point where it intersects? Bring another one of these to here, and this now is where this has to sit. like so. Don't have a lot of room up here, so I'm a bit worried about that, but maybe I won't need to put dimensions there. But I can always bring things in closer. Okay, don't need that line anymore. All right, now I am going to put obviously my top, my front and my side under here, but before I do that, I need to put some dimensions on. Your labels will sit outside of your dimensions. So pretty much when you're dimensioning, I need to put some height in. I can put height against this side, but I could also put it against this side, and this side. So there's 4 places I can do my height. I then need to show my width, so how wide. I can do it here, 2, 3, and 4. And finally my length, here, 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 and here. So with dimensioning, one of the basic rules is you don't want to overcomplicate it. You want to keep it fairly simple and you want to keep it neat so that your target audience can read it. So I'm going to start off by putting some dimensions here. So the first thing I want to do is zoom in, like so. You can actually see what I'm doing. This part here sticks out the most. Your first dimension line needs to be placed from here out by 10 millimeters or 1 centimeter. So I'm going to just draw myself a little bit of a line here. Okay, and so I'm going to use this as a bit of a measuring tool. So that line, I want to make it 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. So I'm just going to go up here, and at the moment it's on 12.7, so we'll just pop in here 10 millimeters. So now that little line is my 10 millimeters, and it's my little measuring tool. Going to plonk that right there. Okay, first thing I now need to do is I'm going to draw, and I can line this up. See, look at that. This is my first dimension line. So your very first dimension line, okay, is, just put that out of the way, dimension line is 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters away from your object. Now I need to draw some projection lines because this guy doesn't just float on its own. All right, the projection line comes from the object. It doesn't touch. You want to sort of leave a millimeter and it hangs over by 2. So that is a projection line. Right, I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to go copy paste. Okay, and I'm going to pop it down here as well. So this needs to not touch because it's not touching, and it needs to hang over, and this should line up perfect and hangs over a couple of millimeters. So this, my folks, my students, is our first dimension line. Now what we can actually do is we can, we might leave that there. We can also actually show the height of this from here to here. That can just hang over a bit. Might help if I actually did that straight, so I'll try again. Hold down the shift key, it goes nice and straight. There we go. I'm going to select it, copy and paste it, and I'm going to bring that right here like so. And if we zoom in a little bit, you can get this quite neat. Okay, and we'll zoom out now. All right, now what I need is I need some arrowheads. So what I'm going to do is select my line, and then I'm going to go to stroke. So I need my stroke. Okay, and this is where I can make all my line weights. But also coming down here, we've got our arrowheads. For an orthogonal drawing, arrow 9 is lovely and neat. This one here, arrow 7 is not too bad, but some of these others are a little bit fancy. Just a nice plain arrow, and an arrow 9 makes a really nice arrowhead for an orthogonal drawing. So you can see there, you don't have to draw them in. Another thing is, if I select them, sometimes you have to get into really tiny areas. Just want you to know that you can actually change the scale of the arrowhead. So we can actually see, if you're looking at the top one here now, I'll just bring that right down and let's turn it off. Can you see the difference between this one and this one? I'll take it back to 100% for the moment because we really don't need to change it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now I do need to pop another arrowhead here and another arrowhead there. So unfortunately what we're going to do is this. Okay, then we can copy and paste it. Okay, and we can put another one in right here, and we zoom this down. Can you see my arrowheads are getting smaller? Paste, and that can go here. Oops. And we can bring that and that, like so. Bring that over a little bit to match up. So to adjust this, I think you all know what we have to do, don't you? And that is we have to increase the size of our arrowhead. Okay, until we've got it pretty much just right. Okay, and so this arrowhead here, once we might just pop it onto 170. Okay, and we'll pop this one here as well onto 170. And there we go, we're looking pretty good. All right, so that's how I'm doing that side there. Just make things a bit brighter. All right, so that's our first one. Okay, so now we've got our heights in, and now what we need to do is we need to pop some in here as well. So again, I'm going to use this and pop this here. We'll zoom in a little bit here. Sorry about the little message we got. We've got a student coming in there with an email with some questions, which is great. So the very first thing we want to do here now is draw another one. This in, like so. Now there is one trick to doing circles, which I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to bring this down here, okay, and this is going to go up to here, like so. So that could actually technically be another one of our dimension lines. So it goes, just hangs over a little bit. See how I'm having a bit of trouble? Zoom in, okay, like so, and we'll do the same thing here. And it hangs over a little bit like so. Then I get to finish this off by putting on my arrowheads. As I said, arrow 9 is a really good one for an orthogonal drawing. And let's zoom out. So let's talk about circles before we go any further. That is one way that you can dimension a circle, but you can see here I've got lots of them, all right? A better way to dimension your circles is to actually bring a dimension line across it, and we'll come out here. So it's actually a leader that will go across like this, and we put a dimension there. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. What I'm going to do with this, actually I might steal this one. Let's put this here. Almost got them. Zoom in, like so. I'm going to pop that there. Let's grab this. So this one here, we can actually go sitting here with our 1 centimeter. We can pop this, make it a bit smaller. This is going to come into here and just hang over a little bit. And this one will be the same as well. All right, so now we've got a dimension for that one there. For your circle, how we're going to do the circle is I'm just going to grab this because I have a funny feeling that it's going to move on me. So I'm going to lock it to the desk. Okay, lock to the desktop, it's not going to move. So how you can go about dimensioning your circles is grabbing your pen tool. Now I can't go out on that angle, but what I can do here is I can actually come to here like so, and like so, and stop. That is called a leader, all right? And now what I need to do is I can zoom in like this, and I actually need to draw another line. All right, so I'm going to draw from here to here, okay? And with this one, this time, I think I've got it. So what we might do is just put it there because it's not clicking off for me. And now let's go in and find our arrowheads, and we go in here and find our other arrowhead, like so. Okay, and now what I'm going to do with this one, oops, just undo actually, it hasn't quite worked, and I'll start that one again. Sorry about that, everybody. So coming in here, and I'll come to here like so, okay? Now what I want to do on this one is we'll try again. This one here, arrowhead, very good. And then here, you should be able to get an arrowhead. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, we'll grab this, double click, bring that to here. So can you see it's actually from there to there? And now what I actually really want to do is on this one here is to pop another arrowhead in. And I don't think it's going to let me, because I think what it wants to do is pop it onto here, which is not what I want. So what I might actually do is just try this again. How about this time we just do this? Okay, everybody, and we'll go here. So there's always more than one way to skin a cat. All right, now I'm pretty happy because you see I've got my arrow pointing from here to here. And now from this, what I really want to do is from here is to continue that line out, okay, and then put, it's not going to let me do it. So I think what we can actually do is, another way we can actually do it is this, and then this. Grab that, pick this up, and sit it in here like so. Might have to zoom in a little bit to get that lined up just beautifully. So I can have it here like so. I can have this lined up, and this part here should be horizontal, and we move out. All right, now that is the radius of that circle. So what I get to do here now is not do that, is I might just do it here first of all, R, and I'm just going to write in 60. I'm not sure what the actual dimension of that is. That can sit there like so. Let's go back up to the top here. This is hanging over a little bit too much, so bring that back, because remember, what do we want? We want it to hang over by a couple of millimeters, and it doesn't quite touch. Right, so you're looking at about a millimeter there. All right, not touching, and then hanging over by a couple. Same thing here. Let's just get that in lined up a little bit better. That should be lined up a little bit better too. Better. All right, numbers in this case here. So I'm just going to type, we'll just go 30, because again, I'm not sure of the measurements of this. Going to go to object, rotate 90, like so. And this is going to sit here just on top, like so. Let's zoom out. All right, so again, just copy and paste that, and let's bring this over here. All right, so again, the numbers, let's just pretend that this one here is 10. Okay, that, don't need it, that's going to sit here. All right, copy and paste. Well, let's just pretend that this one here can be 50. Okay, paste, and we'll pretend that this one here is, I don't know, we'll just go pretend it's 55. So what I'm trying to show you now is a few things. Number one, we have projection lines, which are these. We have dimension lines, which are these. Each dimension line is 1 centimetre or 10 millimetres away from the object. Our dimension numbers sit on top of the line. As you can see, they're sitting here sideways. What I can actually do now to finish this drawing off here is I can actually put this, and go here. All right. We do need our little friend here, my little measuring tool. And we've got object, transform, and rotate 90. You can pop, zoom in a bit. we can pop this here. All right, then here is our first, oops, don't like it when I miss it. Here is our first dimension line for this one. Pop that out of the way. So we have our projection line, like so, just hangs over. Oops, need to swap those around, thank you. And then we have another one, doesn't touch, hangs over by a couple of millimeters. Now this one here, let's pretend that this is 100. That's going to sit there in the middle of our line like so. So at all times, we also need some arrowheads. So again, number 9, it's a nice arrow, like so. So let's just stop for a second. Dimension numbers are sitting like so, sitting like so. Notice it's sitting on top of the line in the center. If you had these dimensions here, I'm just going to copy and paste those. Okay, so these ones here, all right, will actually sit. We're going to go object and we will reflect this. Okay, so again, I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to pop this in around here. All right, see how I've got these this way? Just going to delete, delete, delete. All right, and copy paste. What I need to show you here is this. These numbers, a lot of students get confused by this. These numbers are going to sit here like this, all right? Because the idea is that the numbers sit on top of the dimension lines, like here. Now, if I place these here and I place these here, and then I rotate my page once to the right, these numbers will still be sitting on top. Obviously, I'm not going to put that number in because it's repeating itself. So we'll just get rid of those. All right, so to finish this drawing up, what's missing? You've got some height in here, all right? This 100, I don't need this one because what I can do is delete that. I can work out what that is because I'm showing it from here to here, this outer circle. You can have another one of these leaders coming out that might come here and come out there. That will show that circle, and then you can do a third one. I've got the height here for this. Now, showing that little hole there is pretty tricky because if I had projection lines coming off that, it might be confusing. It might be best to put in some hidden lines here and put dimensions on that. Other than those dimensions there, you're not going to need any dimensions on this because they're the same as here. So to finish this drawing off, I'll need to write top, front, side, and pop in my orthogonal drawing. All right, folks, I hope this helps you out in getting started on doing dimensioning.